Hi, everyone, and welcome to our live webinar. Today, we are going to be doing a deep dive into digital mockup design review. I know you're all very excited. First, I'd like to introduce our team of presenters here. We have Prasad, Kiran, and Naeem. I know you're getting familiar with both of their faces, but a warm welcome to Kiran. This is his first live webinar, so we hope you we'll add a little feedback of how much you love seeing him on camera. We hope we'll get him here again. Without further ado, I'm going to do a little housekeeping. Now, I know some of you are on YouTube right now, but I would encourage you to use the link. There's a link down below in the description that will bring you to our user community, specifically to this post here in the user community, which gives you a little extra detail. It tells you which roles we'll be covering today. You can also watch the webinar live right here on the page. And then even more, you can learn about our presenters. You can click on each of these images to go check out their profiles, see what they're all about, see if they like long walks on the beach like you. And then finally, if you can't get enough, you can watch all of our replays of past webinars. We have 30 plus webinars for you now. And finally, you can use useful tags to see other content related to digital mockup, design review, etc. So, and final point, we encourage you to ask your questions here at the bottom in the comment section. You can't ask your questions on YouTube. Comments are turned off. We want all questions in the user community. And if you ask your questions today, they will be answered live at the end of the webinar. We have a live Q&A. If you ask your question tomorrow, don't worry. Our team will be monitoring this post for the coming weeks, and we will respond to your question in the community. So constantly check back. The community is your source for all things ENOVIA, including this webinar. All right, I'm going to pass the ball to Prasad, and we're going to jump right into it. So here we go.
Thank you. Thanks, Matthew. So the first segment is going to be covered by Naeem. Naeem,
Yes.
I'll let you be on the virtual stage. Best luck.
Okay. Hi, everyone. We are very happy that you have joined this session today. Our session today will be discussing the design review process. So we want to give you an overview and introduction on the roles which participate in this process, and then we will see a live demo. So Prasad, let's go through the agenda, please. So first, we will describe the content that we have today in the platform, which roles we have, which applications we have, what is which roles we are discussing here, and what are their values. And then Prasad will take us into a live demonstration to show how these roles can work together. What are the best practices that will enable us to use these roles in different steps during the process of design review. And you will see some explanation, and then we will see a live demo in each one of these steps. And finally, we will show you some new enhancements which are coming up very soon in our next release 22X GA. So if you remember, the way we organize all of our portfolio is based on themes and disciplines. So again, we are showing this every time we present a role. So just to give you an idea that today's process will be within the theme of collaborative product development. And we are focusing on the discipline of 3D product intelligence within this theme. So now, what are the challenges that our users have today? What are the business challenges when it comes to design review? So first, we want a way to manage the digital mockup design review process while involving many stakeholders, design issues, resolutions in real time. Okay, so we want to be able somehow to find the issues and detect the problems. And then we want to reduce all the design errors, because once the design is made, then we need to eliminate those errors. We want to be able to compute and navigate and analyze all these interferences that might have been generated during the design process. And we want an easy way to have access to all this content. It's not always that our users have access to CAD applications or the CAD data directly from the CAD applications. We want to be able to have an access to this content. We want to highlight issues. We want to raise formal issues or formal concerns, and also to trace and manage the resolution of these issues. So we want to have also a full traceability on these issues. And also we want to conduct a real-time access of the design issues and also the review, and also to assign people who are responsible to manage these issues and the complete design review process. So the ENOVIA solution will give you a lot of benefits. First of all, it accelerates the design maturity, because once you have the design review tools, you will be able to conduct the design review, you will be able to identify the issues, and you will be able to express your concerns in real time through the digital mockup. And that's something that can happen through the whole process of the design review. So these tools or these roles or applications that you will see today will enable you to enhance the resolution process. It gives you a way to completely not just report an issue, but also to trace the resolution process of these issues. And eventually, this will allow you to reduce your design errors and also eliminate all kind of costs, especially that you do this early in the product development process before things go, for example, into production, where the costs of errors are extremely high. So we try to capture all these errors, all these concerns early in the product development process in advance. And after that, this is how we can reduce all the development costs. And eventually we improve also the resolution of the issues that we detect during the design process. So as you know, the platform contains different levels of roles, starting from the very basic level, which we call the collaborative business innovator role. So this role is responsible for connecting digitally all the users in the organization or in the value stream. So here you have the communities, you have the dashboards, you have the way people can communicate on the daily business. On top of that, we have the collaborative industry innovator, which is a level of roles and applications, a level of applications that will allow you to collaborate across different disciplines in order to develop and define your product. On top of that, you have the functional roles. These are the designers or the project managers and so on. And these are the roles that we are going to touch base on today. As you can see on the left side, we have the digital mockup validation engineer, digital mockup review engineer, digital mockup review manager. Now, to make it easier for us and for you guys, so probably during the demonstration, we'll just refer to DEY, DRN, or RAD, just to make it easier. But basically, we are referring to all these roles which are available on top of the collaborative business innovator and collaborative industry innovator roles in the platform. So let's have an introduction on each one of these roles. Let's start with the validation engineer, digital mockup validation engineer. This role establishes the formal management process of the complete design review. As you can see here, we have various applications. We have highlighted the main applications which we will see today, and the applications that participate in the design review process. You need to know also that this role is a native client role, which means that it is not on a widget, but it is on the native client. And all these apps are native client applications. And that allows you to kick off the process, to initiate the formal process of managing the design review, and also detecting interferences between different parts during the design review process. So just high level. The second role, which we will see today, is the digital mockup review engineer, or DRN, which is quite similar to the previous role, but this one also, it allows you to do all kind of collaboration, and it will allow you to contribute, let's say, to the design mockup review in terms of content. So you have also these native client applications that allows you to do that. It allows you also to analyze and communicate the issues that you find during your design review process as an official issue. For example, you find a clash, or you find a measure which is not applied with the requirements, then you can generate immediately an issue in case you find this is something that requires further investigation. And you can also track and all the interferences that are found further on according to your responsibility. And now we are getting now to the first role in this set of roles, which is completely widgetized or completely based on dashboard applications. That is the Digital Mockup Review Manager, or RAD. So this role allows you to identify and analyze design issues anywhere, anytime, and on any device. Since it's a web app, you can do that from anywhere. You don't have to install anything. You can use this widget in order to analyze this content. And also you can visually review the clashes that have been generated by another role directly on your web app. And this way you can decide, you can take decisions whether this is something that requires issues or probably change process that we need to raise based on the severity of the problem that is found. And also you can share and collaborate with other team members on these issues or these changes that probably will be required. So typically, since this role is available for everyone, basically in terms of usage, we recommend this role, for example, to be given not just to designers, but also to procurement or people in the manufacturing or shop floor. These users, they're not really designers. They can just look at the widget. They can take decisions based on the content they have in the platform, and they can easily react. They can easily visualize the content. They can easily react. For example, they say, well, we see here a problem that requires a new creation of a change action, or probably we need to raise an issue because this topic has to be further investigated. So this could be dedicated also for these kind of users who are not typically CAD designers. So let's understand how all of this works together. So we have established here a business process, and the business process starts by preparing the design review. So design review is basically a placeholder of different elements. Prasad will show us what is this list of different elements. But first, we prepare this content through what we call design review. The second step is to provide this content, and that can be done by other roles within the organization that apply or they provide this content to the design review that has been created earlier. And after that, there is a collaboration. Once we find out the content, once we detect the content, then we need to meet together and collaborate and take decisions. What do we do further on? So that is a collaboration, internal collaboration. Another part is when it comes to the interferences, then these interferences need to be also analyzed. When we have clashes between parts, we need to take decisions. We need to decide whether this is something which is okay, we can live with, or maybe this is something severe. We have to redesign the parts or the sub-assembly. And this is the place where you can raise issues, or we can raise change actions in order to continue further working on the topic and also resolve these issues. And finally, we need to review and validate the issues, because these issues have been created, and then it could be other users who are assigned to these issues or change actions, and they need to further work on these issues and to investigate further on. So here we did the mapping. As you can see, the preparation of the design review is done by the digital mockup validation engineer, or DEY. At the second step, we have the review engineer. These engineers are basically taking the content that was prepared earlier and they start feeding it up with all kind of content, all kind of analysis that they do because they are engineers. They understand how to do the measurements and the sectioning and all what is required. And after that, there is a collaboration which is managed again by the validation engineer. That's number 3. And further on, we deal with the interferences. So that is a review manager, another role that can review this content and take these decisions. And finally, as you can see here, we have any user who has access to Collaborative Industry Innovator or CSV, because here we are basically dealing with issues. And to work on an issue, you don't need any special role. You need a basic role, which is the Collaborative Industry Innovator. So here it could be a designer, or it could be design manager, or someone who can take the lead on the issue and continue working on the issue, or it could be also a change action, for example. So this is a mapping between these roles and the steps and these roles. And now let's see this slide. So Prasad now will go further and we will show us how this process can be demonstrated.
Thank you, Naeem. Hello, everyone. Um, so Naeem has explained or given us an overview of a generic design review business process. Now let us dive deeper and understand the process, and also let us also see a demonstration of each of the steps. So the very first step is preparing the design review, which basically means preparing or defining all the basic elements that are required to create and complete the design review process. And the role required to do that is digital mockup validation engineer. Now, before going into a demonstration, let us understand some technical jargons related to preparing the design review. So design review is basically a thing which holds complete definition of the review. And when we say things or the important elements, they are nothing but community, context, validated object, markups, highlights, checks, and everything related to the review. And the app that we use to create a design review in this case is Design Synthesis. Now, let us go through some of the important elements that we are going to cover in this particular demonstration of the design review. So the first one is a community. Community of a design review is nothing but a list of participants or a stakeholders that are going to be a part of this entire design review process. It is important to note that the community that we define inside a design review has a real-time access to contributions of all the other members. Other important elements is validated object. It is nothing but the objects that needs to be validated during the design review process. So under the section of validated objects, you will see the objects that needs to be validated thoroughly during the design review process. The other important element is a markup, which is nothing but a container wherein all the details like annotations and text and all will go inside the slides and the notes within the markup. So markup acts like a container in which slides and note resides, and all the review observations will be captured in the slides and notes. The next important element is a check, which is nothing but an objective of the review. So you can insert it in form of a plain simple text, or you can also attach a simple formal requirement as a check to the review. But it is important to know that the formal requirement has to be an existing formal requirement. So a person with a YED access role can attach that particular formal requirement to the check of the review. Now, before going ahead, let us see what is inference simulation. So interference is basically a clash, contact, or clearance between two parts. And the app that we're going to use is interference check, which is again a native app which we are going to use to perform interference simulation to find out the design inconsistencies. So these are some of the snapshot, or we can say excerpt of the interference simulation, interference check native app. You can see all the definition of interference simulation to the right side snapshot, wherein the name is defined in the interference simulation. In the context, we can define the objects between which we want to find out the interference, or we can select the all the group or between all the component. And in the specification, we can add specification related to interference simulation. Now this slide explains the role mapping between demo users and the ENOVIA role. So in today's demonstration, we have 5 demo users. To begin with, we have a Susan Lopez, who is a validation manager and who is responsible for not only defining but validating, managing the entire validation of digital mockup. And the ENOVIA role that is assigned to her is digital mockup validation engineer, which is DEY. Next, we have Sarah and Scott, who are review specialists, who are who are subordinate of Susan in this case, and they are responsible for thoroughly reviewing the assigned digital mockups and documenting or recording their observation inside the markups that are created by Susan. And you can see the role, ENOVIA role assigned to Scott and Sarah is DRN, which is Digital Mockup Preview Engineer. Next in the list, we have a John Davis, who is a review manager, and he is responsible for analyzing the digital mockup and issue management from a web browser. And that is the reason we've assigned him a digital mockup preview manager, which is a completely dashboard based role, which means that all the apps inside this role are dashboard based apps which can be accessed from anywhere, anytime, and using any device. And the very last in this particular demonstration, we have a Carl Walker, who is a design manager, who is responsible for designing and maintaining the design. So all the issues are going to be assigned to him, and he's going to take a decision based on his analysis of the issue. So the role that we have assigned to him is a collaborative industry innovator, which is a very basic role. Again, this slide is an mapping between steps in the scenario, the role that we have assigned to each person, and the demo user that we have. So you can see the very first step wherein we are defining all the basic elements to prepare the design review. This is going to be done by Susan Lopez, and the role that we've assigned to her is digital mockup validation engineer, which is DEY. Now, Sarah and Scott are responsible for defining the design review. I'm sorry, thoroughly doing a design review and recording their observation. So you can see the role that we've assigned to them is digital mockup review engineer. So they're gonna work on providing the requested design review content to Susan. Next in the step, we have collaboration with the design review team. Again, this is going to be conducted by Susan, who has a DEY role assigned to her. Now, analyzing interferences and raising issue is a fourth step, which is going to be conducted by John, who has a digital mockup review manager role assigned to him. And the last, wherein design manager will review the assigned issues to him and will delegate if issues make sense to him to his subordinate. And to do that, we have a Carl, who has been assigned collaborative industry innovator role. Now here's a story. Susan needs to do a design review of a BIMI device to validate the overall dimension of this device and also of the frame. And she also wants to identify if there are any potential clashes and wants to raise concerns if there are really any clashes. And this is all she needs to do in order to reduce the design error early in the design development or product development process. So we'll see how can be done using the ENOVIA solutions that we've got. So the first step, as we've seen, is preparing the design review, which is basically defining all the important review elements. Now let's go through a live demonstration of the first step. So this is a BIMI device. You can see Susan is opening the app that we are going to use, which is a design synthesis. Again, this app is a native app. You can see she is launching the design synthesis app. Now, the first and the very important thing is to name the review so that other stakeholders can access the review as and when needed in the further process. So you can see she is going to the properties and she is adding a title to the review and also adding the description so that other stakeholders can can see the description and details of the review. Next important element is defining the validated object, which is again nothing but the objects that needs to be thoroughly validated during this design review process. So you can see in the assembly tree, she's selecting the objects and they are populating in the define validation object dialog box. So when she clicks OK, they are automatically populated inside the validated objects. Next important element is defining a community. So she searches for an existing community which is already defined. And to do that, she performs a 3D search and selects the community, which is nothing but a list of all the stakeholders that are going to be a part of this particular review process. So if she clicks on the plus, you can see all the stakeholders that are going to be a part of this particular review process. Now, further up in the process, she wants to define the objective. And to do that, she is adding the check, which is nothing but an objective of this particular design review. She's adding a simple text so that everyone can see it. And going down the line, she wanted a container to be defined so that review specialists, who are nothing but Sarah and Scott, are going to enter in their observation in form of annotations and slide. So she is defining two container, which is two markup respectively for overall dimension validation and also for the frame design review. So you can see she has defined two markups, and right now they contain slides and note, but they are blank because it is yet to be populated with the annotation and observation. And she's saving it so that everyone has the access to the latest information. Now, next step in the story, we've seen that she also wanted to ensure that she identifies potential clashes in the design. And to do that, she has launched interference simulation, interference check app, and now she is generating interference simulation. You can see as soon as it is completed, a notification appears, and you can see at the top that interference check for native apps is now on the screen. She clicks on Analyze Interference icon, which provides list of interferences that are generated right now. When she clicks on any of the interference, what happens is that particular interference is highlighted in the screen, and the interfering parts can also be seen. So you can see once that is done, she saves it so that further action can be taken and other stakeholder can get access to the latest data. Now, this is how the first step is done, wherein Susan has defined the design review elements and also generated interference simulations. Now, second step is Sarah and Scott needs to thoroughly review the assigned uh, assigned parts and also record their observation in form of annotations inside the slides and notes. Before going ahead, let us get acquainted with the terminology of the providing requested design review content. So the first one is markup. So as I've explained, markup is nothing but a placeholder for a slides and notes. And slides is nothing but a screen capture of an existing or a current screen. So Sarah and Scott, what they can do is they can take a view, let's say a front view or a top view, whichever view they want to observe or analyze. They can add in their annotations like, let's say, a distance, measurement, text, arrow, circle. And once all the annotations are taken, then they can take a snapshot of the current screen, which goes right in the slide and captured as a slide 1, slide 2, slide 3 as it progresses. And another interesting thing is replies, which is nothing but uh, 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 just another slide, but it can have a details of a reply. So this helps in collaboration between Sarah and Scott. Now let's see how Sarah and Scott provide requested design review content in the step 2. You can see Sarah is now searching for the design review defined by Susan through a 3D search. So selecting that particular design review and launching a design review app. Again, design review is a native app As soon as she clicks it, design review app opens that particular design review, and you can see all the defined elements from Susan appears in this particular app. So all the elements like community, validated objects, markups, checks appears in this particular app. She goes through it, she reviews all the defined elements, gets acquainted with all the elements, and you can see now she wants to record her observation of the design review. To do that, first she clicks on the main assembly and goes to the front view of the assembly so that she can now start annotating her observation. And to do that, there is an option in the measure section wherein she can take different measurements. You can see as soon as she clicks on the measure icon, a measure dialog box appear, which lets her select different types of measurement depending on the requirement. So right now she is capturing the width of this BME assembly, and you can see as soon as it is there, she clicks on the OK button. Similarly, other dimensions can be taken, and also she can insert the text box which explains which view it is or any other information that is needed to convey. Once that is done, she clicks on the slide so that current view is captured in form of slide inside the slides. So you can see it is captured as a slide one inside the slide for markup for frame and battery design definition. It is important that she saves it so that all the review stakeholder get a real-time access to it. Now, similar to how she has taken dimensions of the front view, now she is going through all the other views and taking all the required dimensions. And again, she is recording her observation in form of slide. As we've seen for the slide one, she is recording her observation for other views in form of slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, and slide 5. So you can see how she creates other slides and adds it in the slides for the markup for frame and battery design definition. Now, because we've seen how it is done in slide one, we'll not go through all the details, but we can see how the slide are captured. When it is done, she saves those slides so that all the stakeholders get a real-time access to the details inside the slides. Now she is Now we want to focus on the frame and battery assembly. So she is hiding the outer exterior of the assembly so that she can focus on the frame part of this assembly. Once that is done, she is again reframing the geometry to see the front view and all the other views of the frame. And similar to how she recorded her observation in slide 1 to for the overall dimension, she has recorded her observation in form of slides for the frame as well. Once that is done, she saves it. Now Scott, he again selects the design review and opens the design review app from the compass. Now, because Sarah has saved all the latest detail, Scott can get access to all the real-time details that are defined inside each of the slide by Sarah. You can see Scott is going through all the definition of the review and especially browsing through all the slides that are defined by Sarah. Now there's an interesting thing. There is an option to view all the slides in form of a presentation. So he clicks on the presentation mode. So all the panels are hidden and you can only see slides in the presentation mode. So he browses through all the slide and carefully looks at all the slides and ensures that all the details looks okay to him. And just in case if he has more comments that needs to be recorded in any of this slide, there is another way that he can reply or add his observation that we'll see in some time. So right now he's going through all the slides, and once that is done, he closes the slideshow and she clicks on the reply option uh, which is basically like he is responding or adding his comment to particular slide, in this case slide 1. So you can see he's adding in his comments to the slide 1, and similar to how slide has been annotated, he can add in his comments. So you can see he has added his comments, and similar to slide 1, he also wants to record or add in some comments regarding slide 5. So you can see he added his reply to the slide 5, which is nothing but a response to a slide 5, and his comments are recorded, and when he clicks on it, it is added in the slide 5. Now this needs to be verified by Susan per the Scott. So it is important that we conduct a meeting, Susan conduct a meeting. Now before doing that, what he does is he updates the slide. So all the latest information are captured in slide 1 and 5 replies, and saves the review so that everything is accessible to the other stakeholders in the design review. Once save is successful, a save successful dialog box appear on the screen. You can see the message. Now we're done with the step 2, wherein Sarah and Scott have recorded their observation, detailed observation in the respective markup. Now Susan, who is a validation manager, need to collaborate with their team, conduct a meeting, and take a decision based on their observation. Now we'll see how she does it in the step 3. Before going through it, let's go through some technical terminologies. So Susan is going to initiate validation meeting with this team member defined in the community, especially Scott and Sarah in this case. And during the meeting, she is going to review the slides, all the major replies by Scott and Sarah. And based on the review, she is going to add her comments and validate the slide. And if at all she finds some critical issue, she can generate a highlight so that everyone is alerted. So as I've just mentioned, highlight is nothing but highlighting or alerting with some critical issue. So it is important that we formally create and manage the issue with a complete traceability unless it is resolved. And to do that, we can generate issue from the same app, which is design synthesis. So Susan does not need to leave this design synthesis app, and she can generate a issue from on the highlight that she has created, which helps in complete traceability of the issue from creation to the resolution. So you can see how she can do that from the snapshot, and you can also see all the details of the issue. Now if at all the design changes needs to be tracked, she can also generate change action, a formal change action. What happens with the change action is all the design changes that are done in order to fix the issue are captured within the realize changes tab of the change action. Now let us see a live demo of how Susan is conducts the validation meeting and raises the issue for critical issues that she observed. You can see she is opening the design review she has defined in the design synthesis app. Now she has access to all the latest details because Scott and Sarah have saved all the details in form of slide in the markups in the respective markup assigned to them. So she goes through all the details like all the slides, all the replies that are created by Scott and Sarah. She reviews all the details during the validation meeting. She can click on any of the slide to review all the annotation that are added by either Scott or Sarah or her review team member. And while going through the slide, she notices that Scott has added a comment that something needs to be verified with the Susan. So Susan verifies the things with the latest standards, and she thinks that this can be approved. So to do that, what she does is she adds her comment in form of a approved checkbox that you see. So she approves this particular thing and says that this is verified with the updated standard and looks okay to her. And she clicks on the update slide. So all the latest things are recorded in that particular slide. Now there's another slide in which Scott has added another comment saying that it needs to be verified by Susan. And based on the latest review and the standard, it looks like it looks like an issue to her. So she rejects this particular thing and adds a comment, and also update the slide so all the stakeholder gets access to the latest details. And now, because this is an issue that needs to be highlighted, she is creating a highlight and adding in all the details of the issue in the description of the highlight. And she can also add the rating to that particular highlight to prioritize it. Once that is done, it is important that this issue is traceable right from the creation through to the resolution. And to do that, you can see she is beginning to raise a formal issue in the same app. So you can see she's adding all the details like issue detail, recommendation to fix the issue in the properties tab. In the next tab, she can see the context of it. In the attachment, she can see the markup. And now she is assigning Sarah and Scott as a co-owner so that they can also have a real-time access and update of what is happening with that particular issue. And she's assigning this issue to design manager, who is Carl Walker. As soon as she clicks on start, the issue has been assigned to Carl, and you can see a message appears which says that the issue has been generated successfully. So we are done with the step 3, wherein Susan found out that there is one issue that needs to be highlighted and that needs to be formally managed. Now in the step 4, John is going to analyze the interferences, and based on his analysis, he'll take further decisions. So we'll see in the step 4. Now, generated interferences, the interferences simulation that is generated by Susan, can be visualized in the interference check, which is a dashboard app which can be accessed from anywhere and from any device. So you can see how John can use this particular dashboard app to navigate through each interference and visualize its 3D details in order to take further decision. So he can navigate and visualize 3D details of the interferences or interfering parts. And based on his analysis, he can set user status and analysis status. And also, based on the same analysis, he can generate a formal issue or a change action as required. You can see after setting up the user and analysis status, he can generate the issue without leaving this dashboard app. That is, right from this dashboard app, he can generate the issue and also add in all the details that are required for this issue resolution, as well as information of this issue. Now let's see how John analyzes the interferences and raise the formal issue. You can see he clicked on the interference simulation and he's opening the interference simulation created by Susan. To do that, he opens the analyze interference dialog box in which all the interference metrics are listed. When he clicks on a particular interference metric, entire geometry is reframed to show the interfering parts. He can use all the options in the view tab in order to view the geometry as he wants. And based on his analysis, he's setting up the user status and the analysis status. Now, during reviewing this particular interferences, he has observed that one of the interference seems to be clash to him. Now, again, he's using all the options in the view tab, like zooming in, zooming out, rotating, and all the options to take a closer look in the interfering part. And based on his analysis, he's setting up the user status and also the analysis status. Now, because he has observed that there is an interference between these two parts, it is also important that he generates the issue. So that's what he's doing, and that too without leaving this dashboard app. So right now you can see he's generating an issue. He's adding in all the details of the issue in the properties tab, like recommended resolution, priority, and all. In the reported against, in the content, he can see the context and the parts that are interfering with each other. In the attachment, the interference matrix is automatically attached to it. And if needed, he can also attach other important documents in the attachment. And in the assignees, he's assigning this to a design manager who is Carl Walker. And again, as soon as he clicks on the start, the issue has been created and assigned to the design manager. Now, before moving ahead, let us take a look at a closer look of the issue that he has just generated. So in the issue management, which is another dashboard app, he can take a closer look at all the issue details, like the attachment and everything. And he can also add in his comments and tag persons in order to convey some details. Like here, he's tagged Carl Walker, who is a design manager, and he's adding in few details about this issue. Now the first step is done, in which John Davis has analyzed interferences and raised a formal issue and assigned it to Carl Walker, who is a design team manager. Now in the fifth step, Carl, who is a design manager, will review the issues that are assigned to him, and based on it, he'll take further decisions. So let's take a look at it. So issue management is again a dashboard app in which if someone assigns you the issue, you get notified in the 3D notification, and all the issues are listed in the issue management dashboard app. Another important thing is you can always drag and drop important attachments like metrics and PDF documents in the 3D Play dashboard app, which is again, you can see it to the right of the screen. There is an app, and you can drag and drop to visualize and take a better look at all the details that are attached to the issue. Now let's take a look at a live demo of how Carl can review and take a decision on the issues. So right now there are two issues assigned to him. First one by Susan and second one by the John. He's taking a closer look at the issue assigned to him by John. In the properties, he can see all the details of the issue. In the related object, he can see the parts. And in the attachment, which is the important thing, he's seeing the interference metric. So he's going through all the details and he wants to take a closer look at this particular issue. So to do that, he can simply drag and drop interference metric in the 3D Play dashboard widget. You can see the inferring parts are visible and also the interference metrics with its detail is there. There is dedicated view tab in which all the options to view the geometry as and when as required are available. So right now you can see zooming in and taking a closer look at the interfering parts. And he can also rotate and use the other options available in the view tab to take a closer look at the interference metric. Now, once that is done, what he can do is he can close this particular 3D Play dashboard app and take further decision. So you can see he's maximizing rather the issue management widget, and he is responding to the comment from John saying that thank you for the details, and he's going to start working on it, or he will delegate the issue to one of his subordinates in the team, and he's putting this issue in the in work phase. Now, similarly, he's going to review the second issue, which is assigned to him by Susan, which is on a high priority. So he's selecting the issue, he's opening the information panel. And in the information panel, you can see all the details are there in the properties tab, related objects, and also the members of this particular issue, like the co-owners, in this case, Scott and Sarah, and the markup that we had created is also there. Now what he's doing is he's simply dragging and dropping the markup in the 3D Play widget. You can see that highlight is available here, and all the annotations, the latest and real-time annotations are also there. He goes through it and it makes sense to him that this looks like an issue. So now it is important that he delegate this issue to one of his subordinate. But before doing that, He can add the estimated end date to the issue through the properties tab, and he can also tag Susan in the comment saying that thank you for the markup and details, and he'll start working along with his subordinate on this issue on high priority, because this has been created on the high priority and needs to be resolved as soon as possible. Once that is done, he puts the issue to the in work phase. Now, this is how we've gone through a generic design review business process through step 1 through to the step 5. Now, the next segment, for the next segment, we have Kiran who will walk us through the new enhancement. So now I invite Kiran to the virtual stage to walk us through the new enhancements in upcoming releases. Kiran, stage is all yours.
Demo videos
Kiran?
on. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Kiran.
Yeah. Thank you, Prasad, for giving detailed information with the demo videos on digital mockup review process. So this is going to be helpful for user to understand review process in detail. Uh, Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing good. You and your family is healthy and safe during this uncertain time. So I will give you a brief about new enhancements which are planned in the upcoming release, that is 2022X. So first major enhancement is about a new application, that is design review application. So till now, Prasad has explained all the review process, so design, review, creation to validation. So all these applications are available in the native. So user need to have a native application installed on their machine or on a desktop, and then they can able to create that. So with the new enhancements, all these applications will be available on the web. So the main benefit of this is it will be more a user can access this application from anywhere, any device, and anytime. So let's start with the first major enhancement, that is design review application. So as I mentioned, that design review is basically application which lets all the reviewers to work collaboratively. So this design review application is same like native application with the same capabilities. So with this design review application, user can create and modify reviews. He or she can create multiple markups in that review, create slides and measures, cross sections. In fact, they can create the markers such as picture marker, text marker, and labels also to annotate on particular observation. Also, they can compare the objects. To different objects or drawings, and create the slides on that, so that uh, designer or review manager can able to understand it in detail. So this is about the design review application. So next slide, please, Prasad. Okay, yeah. So this is the UX of UX of the design review application. It is kind of similar UX like native. So you will not really feel difference in the native compared to web application. So here you can see that the reviewer has created some slides, added their annotations in that slides. So and even reply to that slide. So by doing the reply, review specialist can add their document their feedback. Next slide, please. Okay, so next major enhancement is about the digital mockup validation manager. So this is completely new role in 22x. So till now, we have a design review. So we can design review application with with this role. We will get three new applications. That is design validation, interference simulation, and validation management. So first, I will go through each one. So first we'll start with the design validation. So design validation let's allows validation manager to work collaboratively and review and validate and do the validation of the reviews which are prepared or created by the review specialist. So capabilities. So this application provides the same capabilities, all the capabilities provided by the design review application. In addition to that, it provides a user can able to create, add or read validated objects. Validated object is nothing but the object on which review is created. Then user can create, check and attach specific requirement to that check, then create the highlight, create if there is any specific observation, any specific issue has observed, validation manager can create the highlight on that and connect it to the check. And apart from that, validation manager can able to generate the change action or issue from that highlights. And when validation manager create or generate issue or change action, all these details, that is highlight is automatically attached to that issue, so that designer or whoever responsible to resolve that issue can view that highlight into the different navigator such as 3D play and work to resolve that issue. So next. Okay, so second is interference simulation application. So so as Prasad mentioned that with the design reviewer or validation engineer can create the interference simulation. So same functionality now will be available into the web also. So here validation manager can able to create the define the interference simulation. So define is in the sense that they can validation manager can define the context of the interference simulation. Then he can define the specification criteria such as what clash, contact, clearance, and there are different other different criteria, and he can execute that. He can save that define. So in the 22x we need a DUI, that is digital mock-up validation engineer, to execute that simulation. But going forward, that functionality will be also available on the web, so that user can execute the simulation from the web, and that simulation will be executed on the server side, and user will all the interferences or interference simulation along with interference matrix will be displayed into this application. So along with that, user can open the interference matrix, create and open filters containing interference simulations. Apart from that, user can create user can generate the issue or change action from the interference matrix. Also, from the same application, user can able to perform the analyze the interference matrix by adding the measures or sections, cross sections, so that he or she can he or she can review it in detail. So next slide, please. Okay, so next application is validation management. So validation management provides quick and centralized view using which user validation manager can access all the interference simulations, reviews or markups in one widget. So user don't have to navigate to any other application to check the details of that. So capabilities of these applications are listing all the reviews. So user have a filter functionality also, where he are assigned to which are assigned to him or owner based on owner or based on organization. Along with that, when users see a validation review or interference matrix, he or she can see the details about details of that review, that is context or validated object, highlight checks, and perform maturity states, perform different operations like they can see the details that see the details of each selected objects, like validated objects, check, highlight. They can perform the maturity change of the maturity change, also access the properties. So yeah, so these are the major enhancement. So if you see, so now with the new role, these are the updated, I mean with the new web roles, user can perform all these operations on the web. So this slide shows that with the latest new roles, that user can perform these review operations using the web role. So that's it from my side. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kiran. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for attending the ENOVIA Design Review Deep Dive live webinar. So on behalf of everyone, I would really like to thank you for your time. And now we are open for questions if you have any. So Matthew, Naeem, you can help our users to explain how they can put in their questions.
Yes, so as Matthew explained earlier, the questions need to be in the community directly, and so far we see no questions. So let's stay for some more minutes. Maybe some of you guys would like to add some questions at
Sure.
this time.
Sure, Naeem.
So let's see if, yeah, this is the place where you write your questions and we will pick them up and we will answer them right now. Later on, if there are no questions, then we will answer them in the next few days if you decide to ask your questions later on. So this is the moment, guys, for you to write your questions here.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm always muted at the end, but
Yeah.
just a reminder, if you're on YouTube right now, the link is in the description. Please click on that link and you will be sent to this community post. And as Naeem just explained, we're waiting for you to put your questions in the comment section below. We'll just give you a couple minutes because we don't want to take up everyone's time needlessly, but we do want to provide this opportunity to ask your question.
Yep.
So yeah, hop in there.
Absolutely. I think this is a great opportunity for you guys to come up, ask you questions, get it answered. And of course, as Naeem and Matthew mentioned, you can also, I mean, even if not today, if you think tomorrow or day after, anytime, if you have any questions related to this, you can put it in the comments of the post in the community, and we'll make sure that we answer them as soon as the possible.
Yep. Well, let's see. Nothing yet. I guess you guys explained this topic so well. Incredible.
0 questions. That's, yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, I'll let the team close it out. It was a pleasure introducing everyone. And Naeem, would you like to orchestrate our goodbye? If there's no
I would
questions?
like to thank you guys. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Kiran, who helped us building this content, this scenario. Thank you, Prasad, for the great presentation. Thank you, Matthew, as well. And guys, again, we are really interested to get your feedback on what you have seen today, whether it is on existing products, whether it is on the upcoming applications that Kiran has just explained. And this is really something very hard. This is something that's coming up just in a month from now. We hope that you are using today design review process in a way or another. If you are not using ENOVIA applications and you will be interested with the ENOVIA applications, so you can communicate with us through the community. We can go further. Maybe we can have also a discussion with you directly on this topic, on these apps. If you have any questions you related maybe to something you are using today, we will also be very happy to answer you here. And again, when we answer you guys, we are involving also people from our R&D department, so we are sure that we're giving you the best answer. So this is open for you. We just like really to have this collaboration with you through this community. You can ask any question. This is today it was a webinar, but in general, please go into this community every day, pick up any topic, ask any question you may have, and we will make sure that you will receive the answer on time. Thank you for your participation today, and hope to see you in the next webinars. So there'll be a lot of coming up webinars. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Prasad. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Take care.
Kiran, Naeem,
Bye-bye.
Matthew, Naeem. Bye-bye.
Ciao.